Anu, would you like to start first, please? Our chair of IMC India, Anu.
Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is in the similar time zone and it's still morning or mid-morning for everybody. It gives me great pleasure to have you all join on board. I think after a very long time, India is co-hosting the APAC. If I can use the word co-hosting, I must express my gratitude towards ICMCI and Lydia in particular from Singapore for holding this together and making this happen. Broadly, I'd like to share the agenda for the day with you, and then I'll talk a little bit about India. Post our welcome, we've got Lydia who will walk us through the opening remarks on the AP Hub, what it is all about. Then we have a keynote speaker from India, Mr. Sumnesh Joshi, who Lydia will introduce briefly. But I'll still say a few words. Sumnesh has played a stellar role in enabling the JAM mechanism in India, and most of you would be exposed to JAM for the first time. But this has become India's showcase in the telecom revolution and the financial services revolution. And it is opening up a plethora of opportunities in the consulting space. So we thought we would use this as a sounding board to share with all our neighbors in the APAC rim as to how India is moving towards ahead with technology, powering ahead and bringing reform. But it is also opening a lot of consulting opportunities for very, very heavily specialized consultants. And I think this is a great opportunity for me to and Sumnesh to show you what India is all about and how you can gain from it by aligning more and participating more in India on a regular basis. Then we have the pleasure of Robert's address, which is the key or the meat of the whole conference, where he will talk about the ICMCI 2030 strategy, hubs and communities. The idea is that all our consultants in India and otherwise, they get aligned with ICMCI, and together as an organization, we deliver success. Post that, obviously, we've got AP Hub, their own aspirations. What do they mean as a regional identity? So I guess Lydia is going to tie it down to maybe 3 or 4 top hub aspirations as to what our people want to do together and collectively achieve some goals. And which is what will continue into aspirations into reality for Lydia roadmap. And then we break out into different sessions where we have relevant stakeholders, where we have 3 round tables, and people will talk about stakeholders, approach to achieving aspirations, activities with impact, and the resources needed. And then each of the table representatives will make a summary from each round table in terms of what is really required. Then we have the findings and conclusion, which will be made by Lydia, and then the closing and obviously the announcement of the next hub meeting. So like I said, India has been on a transformation path, and when you go on a transformation path, you end up having a lot of difficulties. India, therefore, has gone through a lot of changes in the last 2-3 years. And we've realized that, we are both a body that promotes connectivity between members, but it is also an organization that should rely heavily on R&D. I think with the ISO 27000 standard coming in, there is a lot of scope for us to develop intellectual material of our own and create that as a body of knowledge for a lot of our members. So we did 2 things. One is we were worried about the pipeline. We have got a lot of aging population. Though India is a young country, within IMCI India, we had a lot of aging population and very little youngsters. The youngsters prefer to go to the Big 4 and they make a career there. And IMCI is bereft of people and volunteers who work for IMCI. So we've set up chapters in different B schools where we encourage students to join IMCI at very, very subsidized rates, so that they get the benefit of all events. And we also give them now access to ICMCI and APAC events, which means that they get groomed intellectually as well as otherwise, and they start belonging from and have a sense of belonging with us from an early age. Now, where that helps is that it creates a pipeline for the future. We have also tied up with a local government university, which is tasked with promoting skills. We believe consulting is a very important skill, and therefore have tied up with them to create a skills pipeline. And we will shortly be announcing a full course with them and opening admissions in Maharashtra, which is the home state of the registered body in India. So we expect, and we already have understanding that we are getting a blockbuster response to that. Our challenge is that we want to take only 20 or 30 people in a class. So we are working on a strategy to do this course even digitally, and then mix it on a hybrid mode, so that digital and hybrid allows us to address and create up to 500 to 1,000 participants every year. We don't want to aim at for far larger numbers. We would prefer quality over quantity for the first 1 or 2 years, so that the whole process is understood. Having said that, we are also rolling out ISO 27000 over here, post all the necessary building blocks being in the place. So these two key initiatives and launching of an RMC in India by end of December this year should then take us further. And I think the path is very clear, because the industry is growing very heavily in India now. Last 2-3 years or 5 years, maybe India is the fastest growing economy in the world. And the consulting profession has not kept pace with the industry. And therefore, we have a lot of skill gap in India, where consultants are needed and can actually facilitate a even faster growth for the industry. And from my understanding that I see and I hear, and that's why it's important for you to hear people like Sumnesh Joshi, who's one of the new young forward-looking government people who are working and tasked with bringing about a major change in India. And I think once that is done, maybe at the next APAC meet, we can look and understand everything.
Thank you so much, Arnold, for your welcoming
Yeah.
speech. A very warm welcome to all colleagues from all IMCs around the world.